And so, here we are. Cardfight Vanguard Reboot Episode 1 is here. Well, it was actually here this morning, but I had stuff going on. Anyways, I said before I probably wasn't going to talk about this, as I do have a regional in the morning for Yu-Gi-Oh! Naturally. But I kind of really want to talk about this because I really kind of loved this. This was actually a really good first episode and a really good reintroduction to Cardfight Vanguard. I know that sounds so crazy because I've bashed this franchise so much over the years, and I'm tentatively getting into this. Things could go wrong next week. We don't know. Obviously, we didn't see a card fight, and one of G's biggest problems was we barely saw any card fights. So, this is tentative, but as of right now, this was great. Like, first up, people have brought this up before, the new visual style, the new animation, it looks really good. The colors are so much more vibrant than they are in the original series. The colors were fine in the original series, and the animation was serviceable. But things have changed in 7 years, and the show's visual style reflects that. On top of that, a more polished, clean look sort of makes the show feel like it means more business. This reflected in visual expressions. This reflected in the general atmosphere of each scene. There was one little time I think it failed, but we'll get to that a little later. And the way we were reintroduced to everything, I thought, worked. It did it in a way that was unique, different, and that's sort of the big thing. We get a lot of shonens throughout history. We've had your Narutos, your Bleaches, your One Pieces. Nowadays we got your Food Warses, your My Hero Academias, and they work on their own because even though a lot of them have the same tropes, like wanting to be the best, or having the generic dramatic backstory, or the big fancy rival, you can sort of get away with all that because each one finds a way to do it that is unique to itself. This is why something like Black Clover fails so miserably, because even though it's not doing anything in the grand scheme of things much worse than anything else, except Food Wars, which is a masterpiece, shut up if you think differently, it's that it doesn't find a unique way to do it. The generic rival is the generic rival. The generic try-hard hero is just the generic try-hard hero. The setting is the same. It's all just done the way it's been done before. And that was Cardfight Vanguard's G's problem. It didn't do anything unique. This was unique and felt like its own thing within seconds. From the minute you get that opening, where it's Aichi and Kai as kids, let's establish the connection within seconds. Let's show you this kid who is weak, who is bullied, who is treated like crap, and this other guy who just looks like he's got it all figured out, has everything right. Remember, these are like 9-year-olds. But these two kids who are just sort of these polar opposites, and how one sort of tries to want to get along with the other, but the other is so afraid of other people that he just can't accept it, and this comes into play later. The handing over of Blaster Blade, in a weird way, I almost kind of felt like the original one did that a little bit better with how it's shown, how Aichi sort of looks up to Blaster Blade. Here it just feels more like something he likes more than anything else, which is fine, but I didn't really feel that connection in the same way I went with in the original. Maybe because Aichi was sort of introduced with it, where here they sort of established his character and then kind of put Blaster Blade in as almost just sort of like a secondary thought, but that's not really a problem. That's just kind of comparison. Then we get what sort of the payoff for that scene is, seeing Kai when he's older and seeing something happened, and that happy-go-lucky kid seems to be gone, and he's just this moody, angry teenager who doesn't even want to talk about Vanguard. Before we go any further, can we talk about Miwa for a minute? Miwa stole the show. I liked Miwa as a good background comedic character in the original. He lost me when he got main character status in the 4th season and didn't do anything, but I really liked him in this. He was a lot of fun, and he really perked everything up. I like how we established Misaki as, what was it, cute yet creepy girl. If I'm correct, in the manga, I haven't read the manga. In the manga, and they tried doing this in the original series, it's insinuated those two have a thing. I don't really like that coupling. Not because I don't like either character. I actually like both those characters. And I'm not really into shipping. Just something about that just doesn't really drive for me, but maybe if they go in that route, they'll make that work. Who knows? But that's also an interesting way to sort of reintroduce Misaki. She is very quiet. She keeps to herself. That is how people would probably think of her. And with Miwa's very bombastic personality, him wanting to maybe smosey on up to her, makes sense. Then we get into the new card capital, and this is my one gripe, and that is card capital didn't look very inviting. It looked like it was in the back of a warehouse, and maybe it'll get more lively as the show goes on. Maybe it's a plot point or something. A part of me kind of wants to believe maybe it's like how a lot of real life card shops, as I'm sure many of us know, a lot of card shops, they find a store, they just kind of get there and just sort of take everything as is. You see a lot of boxes and stuff throughout the store, so maybe it's possible the idea is that they just moved there or something. I don't know, maybe that's in the manga. It sounds like this thing already differentiates a little bit. No, I just felt like it should look a little more inviting, as opposed to the place Morikawa brings his victims to murder and dismember them. And while we're on the subject, oh god, Morikawa, they fixed this guy. I really didn't like him in the original series. He was not funny, he was not likable, his grade 3 gimmick got old fast, so why not make him the evil bully? Like, he genuinely looked intimidating with the new visuals, and again, that's the advantage of changing things up. Going for that more sort of manga, high-impact look, and Impact, oh god, when he beats up Aichi, it's not that graphic, it's not that vivid. If I'm correct, in the manga, we do see him, like, punch him and stuff, whereas here it was a lot of quick editing, but you still felt it like, oh god, someone beat the shit out of this guy at more than just card games. And I like the scene with the teacher, too. That was sort of a great way to kind of establish the character who might show up a little bit later, I don't know, but it's sort of this cute, fun little way of doing Aichi. So many times in these sorts of things, when you have the teacher who wants to be fun and wacky and involve the students, every kid gets into it. Every kid gets excited. And of course, the kid who's stuck in his shell, that's the only way he can express himself. This was a nice little way of redoing it. Obviously, that scene played out very similar to how it did in the original, but sort of going that extra mile to really show just how introverted Aichi is was really good. And again, it creates another level of contrast with Kai, and that is Kai is so much different, but Aichi seems so much like when he's a little kid. Like, that really is good. I also like the thicker outlines on everybody. I don't know why, I just kind of dig it. But no, I like that Morikawa actually plays Spike Brothers. I remember the original, his one sidekick played Tachikaze. So is this new guy playing Mega Colony, the third in their group, and that next extra booster we're getting, is that why it's those three clans? I don't know, it's not important. Then we get what is the most important thing in the episode, and that is Aichi choosing to stand up. In the original series, Morikawa just trips him, but no, in this, he beats the living shit out of him. I mean, again, we don't see blood, it's not like he has any broken bones or anything, but he's on the ground, and if he wants to, he can sit there. Like he said with the teacher, he said he'd find for a way to run out fast, but he didn't hear. He stood up for himself, and he wanted what was his back. That's making a choice. That's what it should all be about at the end of the day. The choices the characters make and why they make them. Aichi's entire life changing from this point forward will forever be done because he stood up when he could have just lied down. That is extremely important for a character, and hopefully this attention and level to character development and establishing who everyone is and kind of making this feel more realistic will continue as the show goes on. It even went as far as, let's just put Ultra Rare here right away. Let's put Ren in the opening. Let's establish that Kai was gone for a long time. All these little things feel like things that you can build upon each week. Will they? I don't know. I honestly have no clue where this could be going, if it'll work, if it won't work, if we can really trust Bushiroad, but as of right now, I'm in. I really enjoyed this. I can't believe I'm here talking 9 minutes of positivity for the new Cardfight Vanguard, but I really liked this, and if you're wondering or on the fence about it, I know I spoiled the whole thing, but check it out. It actually is pretty good. And I'm really excited. But what did you think? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below about the Cardfight Vanguard reboot first episode, where you think this new series is going to go. Do you think it will still follow the manga, or do you think it's going to just completely go in its own direction? Either or I think could work. But as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and we'll just see you next time.